joined again by Jeffrey Tomec, game design student at FutureGames, an elite Swedish gaming academy. Jeffrey's a Canadian student who's been studying there, and my son as well. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing good.
Good, good. So, this in the last couple of weeks, you've been working on your first big group project at FutureGames, and I want to hear all about it and tell our viewers.
Yeah. So at a Future Games, you do these 4 big game projects over your time there. The first one's the shortest one. It's referred to as the Crash and Burn project, because a lot of the people on it aren't supposed to actually know what you're doing. The function of it is not really to make like a phenomenal game. It's to fail at making one and then learn from it for the next one. So the whole thing is kind of designed to go poorly. Though we tried to resist that for ours.
And so you don't think it did go poorly?
I'd say the game's pretty good.
I played it too, and I have to say it's fantastic. If this is the Crash and Burn, I can't wait to see what happens when you're giving it all guns here. So tell us about the game, and well, first of all, what the concept was and how you came about with the concept.
The concept came about from, well, okay, so there was a lot of, this was a weird project, so we had a bunch of different requirements for it. So first off, every team was making a game for kids based around magic. Okay. And a magical transformation specifically. And then we also had the every team had like a sub theme that they were supposed to do. So for us, we were the magic of food, but some people were like the magic of nature or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, so anyway, so we needed food, we needed magical transformations. We weren't entirely sure what to do with that. We were coming up with a few different ideas, and then Carl, one of our programmers, suggested the idea of doing something kind of like Prop Hunt, which is a Gary's Mod game mode where where certain people pretend to be objects in a map, and a group of hunters have to find out who's out of place in like a house, and then destroy the objects that are people. Anyway, something like Prop Hunt, but there's like AI monsters running around searching for you, and you're playing as a little guy that can turn into different types of food.
Right. So you went home and prototyped this, right?
Yes. I prototyped an early version of it on the first night. We had so little time to make the game that I really wanted to get the ball rolling on development as quickly as possible. And being that I was already the main, so for them, I was product owner, which means I was a kind of project manager, but it's not really that. It means like I don't have that much power. It just means that it's on me if things go bad. Like I'm the guy who has to put their name on it first and foremost.
All the responsibility and none of the power.
Pretty much. That's the best way I would describe it. Though perhaps a little me-sided. Anyway, so I was product owner, and also I'm a gameplay designer, and I was the only gameplay designer on the project, which meant that making a base iteration of the gameplay seemed like an intelligent thing for me to do with my first night. So I stayed up really late the first night, whipped together a prototype that I just to try and get the team on track as quickly as possible, because I didn't want us to be sitting around trying to think about what the best way of handling this stuff is, and like trying to debate about what the gameplay should be. Like I wanted, like, even if we were gonna be talking about and revising gameplay, I wanted my idea to be like something that was immediately like visually displayable to my teammates, instead of just trying to describe it to them. If they could play it, that seemed a lot more effective.
So the final game ended up being third person, but you did the prototype as kind of a top-down, three-quarter perspective, eh?
Yes, I did. So a week into the 2-week project, we went out to the Museum of Technology here in Stockholm, and we set up, like, they had this whole like exhibit set up for us, and we would go to our assigned computers that they had and get our games running on these laptops, and then children would go around in our target demographic and play all the games for playtesting.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun, having kids right there on the spot playing your games, eh?
Yeah. So in the first playtest, we had like an automatic camera from three quarters perspective that would the player could it wasn't strictly three quarters because you could go on the walls on every side of the room by climbing up shelves,
Right.
similar to like the map in the final game. Except when you it wouldn't look good if the camera was like facing behind the wall that you were sitting beside or whatever, so the camera had to like shift around and turn to face you, and there was this whole automatic camera system that I spent a while coding. And then when the kids were playtesting it, one of the first things I noticed, and I suppose it's not that surprising now that everyone plays Minecraft and stuff, was that all these kids, the first thing they were saying is, why can't I control the camera?
Okay.
Why is the camera automatic? And I just want to be able to choose what I'm looking at, and because my system was pretty okay at approximating what the player needed to see for where they were on the level, but the kids wanted more control, and so we were thinking about that after, and we were like, okay, well, already we're going for these scenes where you're playing as like a really small little object running away from these scared from these big monsters that are chasing you, and our level designer Marika suggested that maybe it would just be smarter if we were looking more from the food's perspective up at the world around them instead of, and I was thinking, well, I can code a third person character like easy, the third person's easier than the three quarters thing, because the three quarters thing had a bunch of automatic camera systems and all this stuff that had to be accounted for making sure that the camera was never in the wrong place. Once you put it on the player to control the camera, it's way easier to implement. So
A week into this crash and burn project, you kind of turned it in a totally different direction, eh?
The game was really still the same, but yeah, we did a lot of really last-minute significant changes to the game for a few reasons. There's a lot of things that I would have changed about this project at the end of the day, and we having a more complete idea of it from the start is one of the number one things, I think. Changing the third person wasn't a big deal, but there were a lot of really significant things that changed between the first and last version.
Right.
And some of those changed a week or on the final day of the project.
So a really good look at what crunch time is like in the game industry. You feel like you have a little bit of a taste of what that's like now, I guess, eh?
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, when you're working on a small project, that's just kind of expected. Like nobody who's, for example, if you're told to do a 1-day game jam, if you don't think everyone on that 1-day game jam is gonna you're not gonna pull a 16-hour day and then go to sleep for the last 8 hours of your 24 hours for the game jam.
Right.
You're gonna wake up right at the start of the game jam, and you're gonna go to sleep at the end of the game jam.
Right.
And you're not gonna and then you can go sleep as long as you want because the game jam's over.
So let's talk about the finished project, which is now available on itch.io as well, right? So even our students here can play the game themselves. Tell me all about it. So it's called Please Don't Eat Me, right?
Yes, it is called Please Don't Eat Me. Thank you. I almost forgot. It's been a little while since I've been working on it. Anyway, yeah, it's called Please Don't Eat Me. You can play it on itch. I'm sure there'll be a link on the video and stuff like that. Yeah. You might as well. I mean, it's fun. I might
tell
be
us
a
the
little
basic
biased.
gist. Tell us the gist of the game and a little bit about the gameplay.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. So you're this little guy. The story is expressed right at the start in this little book that you can read through. You'll not understand it. I don't know if a single person who's played the game has got what we were going for in the story. We really should have. We should have made that make a little more sense. But I mean, you can have your own interpretation. I'm not going to tell you what's happening.
It was something about a wizard trying to destroy the world or something.
Something. You'll get it. You'll get it. Anyway, but then you get into the game. You're this little speck. This little ball guy that's running around, and then if you walk up next to food, you can turn into that food. And then once you've become food, you have to go and shove yourself inside this cauldron to make a potion out of all the foods in the level to turn yourself back into being a human.
Okay. A
from the
human.
little speck you've turned yourself into.
Right, right.
Um,
And so you're looking at a recipe card, trying to assemble the ingredients for a recipe,
yes.
basically running around this wizard's laboratory that has high shelves and all sorts of out of reach things in it. Right. That's the gist of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And then the catch is that there's this monster chasing you around the whole time, who's one of the wizard's old pets, who's trying to eat him.
Right.
Um,
Hence the title.
yeah.
Please don't eat me. Right.
Yes.
Right. And so all many of the different foods that you can pick up have attributes that they lend to you, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we would have had more had we been given more time. So there's only 3 primary ones. Burgers can double jump. It's quite fun.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Pies can glide. To get to other places, and hot dogs are thinner than all the other foods.
So you can fit into
so
little
they
crammed
can,
up spaces. Yeah.
yeah. There's a few places specifically designed that only the hot dog can get to them through the intended pass. Though there's ways for there's a lot of different ways to get to different things. Then there's also a few little gimmicks, like there's a physics object on the level that can be knocked over to get. There's one of the foods can't jump.
Right.
That's its main issue, and so you can't get it back to the cauldron unless you like make a bridge by pushing a physics object off a. Well, I don't know if you found that one and you're playing.
I think I saw it maybe in the trailer or something. I haven't gotten that far in the gameplay. I've spent about 20 minutes playing it and got a little frustrated. But it was fun, though. I'm actually really enjoying testing it out. And it is a free game, I'm going to remind you guys. So please give it a look, viewers. Anyway, so yeah, it's a super fun game. What's the reaction been?
A reaction. I mean, the kids that played it liked it a lot. It's not like after it's got an itch, I don't think anyone's played it. I haven't tested how many downloads I've got. Probably not many.
Yeah, probably not many.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see if we can whip up
uh,
some downloads for you here anyway. But
Yeah, it's more just so I can show it as a portfolio piece, and everyone else on the team can, of course, as well. We worked with a lot of really great people.
so as someone who's been working individually, like as a lone wolf for all these years, it must have been strange working with all these other resources that you can rely on, having other people working on different things, and not having all the control, of course, as well.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It's certainly different. I do think it was very much like a group effort where we were all coming up with ideas and stuff like that, which is to an extent how it's supposed to be, but also I think it went a little too far in this project. Like if there was one thing I could have changed about it after, I would have had the designers doing more design and all the other people being more having it be more like authoritative,
Right.
in like who's coming up with the ideas and who's implementing them. When you have to 8 people trying to agree on every game mechanic and stuff, it's just too much. It's too
Yeah.
much meetings. You don't get enough done.
There's an old saying that applies especially to food: too many cooks spoil the broth, right? And so that
Yes,
seems appropriate for your game.
Yeah, that's how it works for just in general in game
Yeah.
development, from especially after this. So if I was doing this more in future, which I plan to be, and I've already started work on another side project we'll probably be talking about soon.
Yes.
And there's another one starting after that. And in general, like in future projects, we're trying to keep it to like a few people's vision for a game with a lot of other people working on it.
Right.
Instead of, not that those people don't have input, of course, when I'm approached by like a really good idea, like we should maybe third person would be more fitting to the game, or the cool idea for the cauldron interface, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Those are the kind of things where it's like, everybody in the team's input is very valuable. It's just that you don't put everything to vote when you do have those disagreements. It more falls on who has final say in what department of
Sure,
the game.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it looks like you've got lots of interesting times ahead of you at game design school here, Jeffrey.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun.
Good, good. Well, I can't wait to hear about the next project you're working on. We'll be getting back to you and doing another interview about your side project in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. In the meantime, happy game designing there, Jeffrey. I'm so glad that you're thriving there. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you. I see you guys around.
This has been an excerpt from the Chromeworks Technology live stream. For more Scratch tips, tutorials, game reviews, and interviews, subscribe to this channel and make sure to tune in to our weekly live show, Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube.